Hola, hola, hola. Probando, probando. Bueno. Hola, hola a todos. Estoy haciendo streaming esta vez desde otra parte, entonces tomen en cuenta que quizás la conexión no sea la mejor. Denme un segundo en lo que termino de revisar esto. Un segundo. Lo que pasa es que ya no tengo dos pantallas ahorita. Estoy de otra parte. Estoy usando en el laptop. Entonces solo cuento con una pantalla. Entonces para el chat voy a estar un poco más lento del usual. Y espero que el internet funcione. La verdad es que no es la mejor conexión, pero espero que aguante para el streaming. Hey Carlos, ¿qué onda? Saludos. Sí, ya tenía tiempo sin hacer streaming. Vamos a darle algo. Va a ser un streaming relativamente rápido, porque es más que nada un como test de pues el internet de aquí. Entonces creo que no tengo nada en mente todavía para el streaming. Veremos qué va saliendo. Se aceptan sugerencias. Ya tenía tiempo que no hacía como un streaming en el que no tuviera la idea de qué es lo que iba a hacer y estuviera abierto a sugerencias. Sí, no estoy en mi computadora, entonces es un poco raro porque todavía no me acostumbro a trabajar desde la laptop. Pero es como un reto. Realmente aquí son las 7 de la tarde, entonces no es tan tarde. Sé que ya son las 9. ¿Qué onda, George? ¿Cómo te abro? Ah, no sé, la verdad. No sé exactamente qué conexión tienen aquí. Sé que no es la mejor, pero pues al menos parece que sí estoy haciendo streaming sin problemas. De todas formas, ya saben que si se llega a crashear o algo así, que es casi siempre lo que pasa con Facebook. De todas formas, estamos en YouTube y en Twitch haciendo el streaming de todas formas en el mismo canal. Creo que podemos hacer un dragón hoy. Realmente tenía tiempo que no hago un dragón y usualmente es lo primero que hago cuando estoy en alguna parte que no, donde no he trabajado antes. Cada que viajo a alguna parte, creo que lo primero que hago son dragones. Ese puede ser el tema de hoy. Que de todas formas lo puedo ir cambiando, no hay problema. Solo que el streaming no sé cuánto vaya a durar. Y en especial no sé cuánto vaya a aguantar la conexión así. Es realmente una prueba. A ver si voy a poder hacer streamings como antes. O no. Mm, en un segundo porque estoy viendo qué onda con el internet. De repente me sale que está fallando y de repente me sale que sí estoy conectado. Entonces es un problema. Hey, ¿qué onda? Saludos allá a Perú. No estoy ahí esta vez. Igual, disculpa si tardo en responder el chat, pero como solo tengo una ventana, tengo que estar parando lo que estoy haciendo, revisando el chat y no estoy todavía acostumbrado a eso. De hecho, igual y puedo dejarle la boca abierta. Esto va a ser el paladar. Y en mesh aparte le voy a poner la boca. Sí, no sé cuánto tiempo ya tenía sin hacer streaming, pero ya era un rato, al menos unas 2 semanas tal vez, 3. Pero sí, definitivamente ya tenía un tiempo sin hacer streaming. Y el problema también es la música, porque como no tengo ninguna de mis librerías aquí, entonces el problema es que justamente no tengo nada de música libre de derechos que puedo utilizar. Todavía no me convence mucho esto. Realmente no es mi tipo de música, pero ya ni modo. Y también la silla no es lo más cómoda. Hey, Shubham, how are you doing, mate? Oh, I completely forgot about saying this. This is just like a test stream because I'm not like in my usual working place, so the connection might not be the best. But I'm going to try to do something very quick. Hopefully they will get my internet fixed very soon. Creo que voy a hacer como un dragón chino. Creo que no he hecho de esos. Sería un buen cambio. Todavía ni siquiera tengo las carpetas seteadas. Me falta mi artesanal ahí. Sí, bro. ¿Sigues ahí en la chamba o ya te fuiste a tu depa? Voy a guardar esto. Creo que voy a utilizar más sculptris que nada. Voy a hacer algo de remesh by Dynamesh antes, pero solo para tener un poco más de resolución en general en todo el cuerpo, porque lo que tengo ahorita es demasiado low poly. Y creo que eso es demasiado, algo así. y por alguna razón quité Symmetry, entonces Mirror Weld, arregla eso. Ah, ya saliste, perfecto, bro. I'm new to your stream. What's your approach for creating stuff? Just an overview can help a ton. Thanks, Shubham. Well, usually when I'm trying to just to play with the shapes, and I mean, like right now I'm not really entirely sure what I'm doing. I'm just like following the main shapes that are of whatever I'm trying to accomplish. For example, right now I'm aiming for a dragon. However, I don't have already an idea on my mind. I'm just trying to use a very low poly mesh. Right now I don't have that much polygons. You can actually see the poly count right here. And a lot of polygroups. You can see that since I actually added different poly meshes by using the IMMs, I have different polygroups. For example, one polygroup for the head, one for the jaw, and one for the neck. And that's super useful because I can actually isolate different parts of the body and start working on them without affecting the rest. So right now it's just it's just like sketching in 2D. I'm just trying to find whatever I want to sculpt, using mainly clay buildup, move, and damp standard. I try not to use that much the smooth brush because I want to keep all this detail, like all this noise and mistakes that I'm doing over the entire creature. I'm trying to keep them because that's a lot of information that I can use later. So that's mainly the thing that I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to sketch something, to find whatever I'm doing, you know, the main shapes, having something interesting, and mainly have an interesting silhouette. Right now it's, to be honest, a little boring. I don't have anything that stands out from the creature, but eventually that will change. Maybe after adding some horns or some interesting mouth or an interesting tongue, everything will change. But so far, I'm just doing like the main anatomy of the creature. I'm just doing like the bone structure and adding some muscles. I'm thinking in going into like a Chinese dragon direction. But that's a thing that I haven't done before, so it would be an interesting take on a dragon that I tend to do not really that often, but from time to time. Y por ejemplo, sé que la boca va a ser algo así, entonces puedo empezar a agregar más subtools. Again, if you have any questions, my streams tend to be in English and Spanish, so feel free to ask in English if you're not like understanding what I'm saying in Spanish. Is that a Swedish crocodile? Hey, much tato. Not really aware of that. Give me a second. It's Dynamesh or subdivided. And once you're satisfied with the forms, do you merge them all? And you go for the high details, or do you do something else? Right now, I already merged once. For example, what I've been doing is using spheres to create, for example, the head and the neck and the jaw. They were separate subtools. However, that was at the very beginning. Right, I can actually show you the very beginning of the mesh. So this is the original mesh that I started doing, and you can actually tell that this is a sphere, this is another sphere, and this is another sphere. So what I did is I pressed W and then went for remesh by Dynamesh. This is just like a Dynamesh, but a more controlled version of the Dynamesh you can find here in geometry. You can control the amount of polygons by making this white cone bigger or smaller. For example, you can actually tell that this is a very low poly version of the dragon, and if I make the cone bigger, it takes a little bit more time, and you can see that I have a lot more resolution. That's what I did. I didn't add like a ton of polygons. You can see that I don't have enough resolution yet to start adding details. What I usually do is once I have the main shapes, I'll do a zero measure, and then I'll start projecting the details, and it's like doing a very quick retopology. But that goes like in the middle of the process. Right now I'm just using Dynamesh, and I'm going to probably use sculptris, because I don't tend to use it that often, and it's a really nice feature from ZBrush. Hey Vishar, how are you doing, mate? Are you going to the ZBrush Summit this year? Let me save this. It's going to be like version 2. And again, I'm just using spheres to add different subtools. In this case, it's supposed to be like the teeth. So it's just a simple sphere. Quiero ir por una versión un poquito más realista de esto, pero realmente todavía no me decido. Creo que los dientes de adelante ser un poquito más cortos. Y ahorita lo que voy a hacer es usar el gizmo control para duplicar. So I try to use a lot of hotkeys. So if you see me do something and you have any question of whatever I'm doing, feel free to ask. Also, I'm using like a custom UI, so I have all the main buttons that I tend to use up here. That way I'm not losing any time in the menus. Looks a little funny right now, but hopefully it will look a little bit more intimidating at the end. Oh, you're going to THU? Oh man, I'm so jealous. Are you going to THU with PC? I really wish I could go this year to THU. Y ahorita tiene los ojos cerrados porque me da un poco de flojera ponerle los ojos, pero eventualmente se los pondré y serán abiertos. Some ears. They're merged, but they have their own polygroup, right? I don't know how about Mesh by Dynamesh, things about that, but once we select the geometry with that, will that auto update, or we have to do it again and again? Yeah, you have to do it again and again. That's the only difference between that and the usual Dynamesh that you can find right here in the geometry tab. But yeah, you already have different polygroups because the way I work, it's like, for example, the ears. What I did is, right now I tend to use this brush, which is called Imm Primitives. And it's super useful to create different spheres on the mesh. So for example, if I want to make the base of the forms, I inserted the sphere and then I just start using the move brush. And once I'm happy with the position of the spheres, I remove the mask, and let's say I want to remesh all these together. I'm again doing remesh by Dynamesh, and I'm unable because it's not. Apparently there isn't any symmetry on the mesh, and when you don't have a very perfect symmetrical mesh, you might have some issues. So what you need to do is deactivate symmetry and then remesh by Dynamesh, and that will fix the problem. And that's it. It's merged. At the end, what you have to do is go here on the orange gear and press accept, and that's it. Since I used a different sphere from, for example, the skull to create the ears, this is a different polygroup. But if you remember, I used the same sphere to create the horns and the ears, so they have the same polygroup. They're sharing the same polygroup. But you can actually separate the polygroups by creating a mask and then pressing Ctrl W, and this will assign a new polygroup to wherever you have a mask. You run world, and there we go. So that's like a very quick way of like remeshing stuff, especially at the beginning when you don't have any topology and you don't have enough detail to lose. So like a very quick way of just mixing the mesh and keep sketching the main shapes. And you can actually see that there isn't a lot of difference between this mesh, which is the one without the horns and the ears, and the one that has like the detail of the horns and ears. It's pretty much the same poly count, except now we have these two meshes attached to the body of the dragon. No me acostumbro a estar en estas sillas. Igual casi todo lo tengo con shortcuts, entonces si tienen alguna duda al respecto del hotkey o lo que esté utilizando, nada más háganme saber y les diré que estoy presionando. I want a more aggressive look on this creature. Maybe it's time to open the eyes. Just trying to make a more anatomically correct eyeball by using move, and that's it. I'm going to use completely forgot that I don't have my materials right here. So this is like the base materials that you find in ZBrush at the very beginning. And I tend to use a custom material for the eyes. However, I don't have it right now because it's a new computer, and well, I completely forgot about loading my materials. So I'm going to use toy plastic for the eyes, which is close enough. And I'm going to activate mRGB, and I'm going to try with a little more yellowish eyes. Now color, fill object, and there we go. It's gonna make easier working on something with the eyes, you know, reflecting. At least I find it more easy. Y voy a guardar. Le puse el color de los ojos porque me es más sencillo trabajar con algo que tiene ya los ojos puestos. Y pueden ver que casi no he hecho nada de detalles, pero tampoco le he agregado más resolución y ya pueden ver como algunas arrugas principales. Mucho con el manejo de sombras, porque realmente no estoy metiendo nada de detalles con arrugas o alfas, nada por el estilo. Esto es de nuevo como hacer sketch en 2D. Esto puede ser como una cresta, como cresta de pollo o algo así. Voy a desmarcada. Can we separate them again according to their respective polygroups? Yeah. Let's save this. Let me put some music because I have my music library here. So let's say you want to split, to duplicate this. Okay, work. So let's say I want to split the horns. I press Ctrl Shift and click on this polygroup. Oh, never mind. I have the other duplicated head underneath. So again, Ctrl Shift, click on the polygroup, and now what I can do is go to, well, I have it right here, split hidden, but you can find it in geometry. Oh, never mind. It's subtool and split hidden. Now, I mean, it looks again as we left the geometry, but if I press solo, you can see that the horns are a complete separated mesh from the head. Now I do have these big holes in both the horns and the head. So what you can actually do is go to geometry, modify topology, and press close holes around here. Here it is, close holes. That will fix that issue of the big hole on top of the head. So it's pretty easy. Once you have polygroups, it's pretty easy to work with them because you can actually split them, merge them again, isolate different parts of the mesh, masking by polygroups. They're super useful. Let me look at some pictures of Chinese dragons, as they have a better understanding of the face. Okay. So the nose tends to be more like a sphere. Just looking at some pictures. La idea es hacer el dragón como chino, pero una versión un poquito más realista de este. Vamos a duplicar estos. Y lo mismo para las sencillas, las voy a duplicar de una vez. try something different for the eyes. No sé si ponerle un tercer ojo. Realmente lo estoy pensando mucho. Just going to try doing like a third eye. Yeah, I kind of like it. Just going to do some fixing of the eye because right now it's like looking nowhere. There we go. Muchas gracias, Israel. Ahí va poco a poco. Está medio complicado con esta silla y en este tipo de mesas está trabajando, pero pues que no hayan excusas. Y todavía no agrego más polígonos, pero pueden ver que realmente ahorita no son tan necesarios. Some remesh by Dynamesh for the gums. I don't need that much resolution. There we go, something like that. You run weld. And again, I'm going to reuse everything that I can. For example, for the teeth, first of all, I have one right here. I'm going to move it in the back. There we go. And I'm going to duplicate this for the lower jaw. I'm going to split this to have a subtool for the jaw. Well, for the teeth on the top and on the bottom. That music is super annoying. Hey, sí, no me había dado cuenta. Traigo playera de Rhapsody y siendo un dragón. Va muy ad hoc al tema. Sí, es cierto, Carlos. Buen ojo. So someone was telling me that I'm using a T-shirt from Rhapsody and I'm sculpting a dragon, which fits a lot to what Rhapsody sings about. I didn't realize that. It's a good point. Oh man, that's super annoying too. El problema es que no es mi música, es música de YouTube. Listo. De nuevo, quiero ese look como de dragón chino, pero diferente. Quizás si le pongo unos cuernos más interesantes. Esta es solo la base del cuerno, no son los cuernos como tal. Así también estabas tú, Isra. I was wondering why everyone is looking of the same size. Then I look your perspective itself. Does it affect the other model? I tend to work without perspective, to be honest. At least at the very beginning, when I'm just designing, I prefer to have like this orthogonal front view because at the very beginning, what I'm trying to achieve is to have a very unique design, and I feel that having perspective will change a little bit of that look. But once I have the design on my mind, or at least something close to the final design, then I'm switching to having like a sculpturing with perspective. It's always useful to sculpt with perspective on. However, I tried not to do it at the very beginning, just at the end once I have like the main shapes and even some of the details nailed. and a bigger lower jaw, and maybe something right here, like a tongue. How useful and used is digital sculpting in games? Super useful. Like, it's used from creating the meshes that, for example, the base mesh, or for concepting, and even for texturing. It's super useful to have a high poly mesh, because sometimes, for example, in Substance, you require a high poly in order to bake, and with those bakes you can do a lot of stuff in Substance. So it's super useful sculpting for video games. I mean, to be honest, it's required that if, for example, you are going to sculpt something, usually you are the one that will make the retopo. So it's just like part of the game, but it's super useful having ZBrush in the pipeline, either for VFX or video games. It's just a very important tool. Even just for concept art, it's easier just to sketch something on ZBrush, sketch something on ZBrush, and then switch to, I don't know, a rendering engine like Keyshot, or maybe V-Ray, something like that. Do a very quick render and then start painting over it. It saves you a ton of time doing that. So having ZBrush in your workflow, it's super useful. Or any other software, but let's be honest, ZBrush is the best on high poly sculpting. En este chat, bro, Twitch. Sí, hay gente ahorita en Twitch y en YouTube, bro. You see me like answering questions that you don't see on the chat. It's because I'm right now using an app called Restream, so I can see like the questions on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. So that way I don't need to have 3 windows of different chats. Super useful. Which Cintiq are you using? I'm not using a Cintiq. I'm using like a bamboo tablet, like the smallest one. And right now I'm using my laptop, so it's super useful to have this small tablet, because I can travel and keep working, even though it's a little uncomfortable for the back, but it's super useful. I always use actually these like bamboo tablets, like the small ones. I find them more comfortable than working with the big Cintiqs, at least for the arm, because with the small tablets you don't need to make like a very big movement to cover a lot of distance on the screen. However, with a Cintiq, for example, the movement that you require to go from point A, let's say the corner of the screen, to the point B, which is the other corner, it's way bigger. So at the end, you feel a little bit more tired, especially if you're investing like a ton of hours working in front of the Cintiq. Your hand starts to feel the movement. I mean, you start to notice that you're like getting tired quicker. How long this took you? This is actually been going for let's see, give me a second. I've been streaming for an hour, so it's been an hour of sculpting this. I mean, I've been doing some pauses and answering questions and checking the chat, because I no longer have 2 screens since I'm using a tablet. I mean, I have a laptop and I'm not home, so I'm abroad and I have to use something different from my usual what's the name of it? Workstation. So it's been an hour. Even though it's been an hour, I don't have that much resolution. I'm not even near a million polygons. But I find it more a little bit more useful to work with a low poly mesh, especially when you're designing like this. Now for the horns, it's gonna be a little bit more interesting. I want to do something different from, like, you know, the usual Chinese dragon horns that you can find everywhere. So maybe like, I don't know, an interesting pattern on the horns. And again, sorry if it takes me a little bit more to answer questions, but I need to stop sculpting and then switch to another window where I have the chat, and it takes a little bit more time than what I'm used to. Creo que la idea de los cuernos me está gustando, al menos un poco la forma principal. Quizás pueda detallar un poco más, pero la idea no me desagrada. Y quizás puedo duplicar estos para poner otra versión. Y si es que la espalda me está matando. Parece un candelabro. Ah, no he guardado. Y quizás pueda ponerle como los bigotes. I should use some clay multi-tool. It's not clay, it's curve. It feels a little bit more like a Chinese dragon. And split again. Para esto, ya que tengo hecho el primer mechón, voy a separarlo y voy a duplicar. Auto Group y Mirror Weld. I'm going to duplicate this just to have another like patch of hair. And by using move topological, I'm just going to make it look a little bit more random. And again, actually I can use a duplicated version of this and you can just move them. Hopefully my polygon won't go like crazy by doing this. And for this I'm going to deactivate symmetry just to have something less symmetrical. It's like a very old looking dragon. They use Dynamesh Master plugin. No, I haven't used it. I actually haven't heard of it. Yeah, what's the difference between the usual Dynamesh, the normal Dynamesh that you can find on ZBrush, and the plugin? remember, do you have a duplicated version of the original? Which is this one. That way I can actually, let's say I'm going to duplicate this. And I just require one of them to delete the other. Realmente estoy usando el mismo mesh, nada más lo estoy acomodando en partes diferentes, usando move para que se vea diferente. Y una vez que sea diferente, una vez que ya se ve como un poquito más random, lo vuelvo a duplicar y lo vuelvo a acomodar y así varias veces. Y a esto lo voy a hacer mirror para tener dos versiones diferentes. Igual nada más necesito una. Delete hidden. Voy a hacer otro subtool. You're welcome, Shivman. Glad you enjoyed the questions. I mean, glad you enjoyed the streaming. Just checking in because apparently the streaming on Facebook stopped. Yeah, apparently after an hour and a half, the streaming on Facebook stopped. But I guess it's not the case on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, so apparently the streaming is still on YouTube and Twitch. For some weird reason, there is no streaming on Facebook, but we are good on Twitch and YouTube. And I'm going to save this version. So, al parecer el streaming en Facebook se detuvo, pero en Twitch y en YouTube todo está bien. Ya había tardado en fallar Facebook. Ups, quién sabe qué hice. Pero ya lo corregí. Just going to try something different with the horns. Sí, no me gusta mucho cómo se ve eso. Pero... I mean, this chair is super uncomfortable. ¿Usaste el snake hook para las barbas? No, usé esta brush que se llama Curve Multitude. Lo que hice fue crear solo una. En este caso hice algo así. Creé uno de estos, le ajusté el tamaño para que fuera un poquito más delgado. Y una vez que estaba contento, lo que hice fue, en el caso de estos, lo dupliqué y así ya tenía como todo un set de cabello. Y después con la de Move Topological simplemente fui ajustando el cabello para que se viera un poquito más random. Suavicé un poco para que se viera más delgado y ya. Con eso tengo como un cabello un poquito rápido. Y ya lo que hice después, una vez que tenía uno de esos sets, ese también lo dupliqué, hice Move Topological para romper la simetría y ponerlo en diferentes partes como la barba y así. Se siente raro no tener mis materiales. Pero siempre está disponible Red Wax. I don't remember which one was I using. I guess this one. Now that I have this, I can actually change a little bit more the neck because I'm not really enjoying having that wide neck. Y creo que voy a separar mejor la cabeza del cuello, porque el cuello no me estaba gustando mucho. Entonces, delete hidden, close holes. Actually, I can just cut a little bit more of the neck. I don't need that much neck. I'm just doing the head. I'm really enjoying the design, so I'm going to start sculpting, some wrinkles. I'm going to save this before cutting the neck. Save. And then I'm doing a second version without the neck. And for this, I'm going to start using Sculptris Pro. Just to start adding, details just for fun. can actually see what I'm working with Sculptris Pro. Just doing these on like important parts, important bits of the mesh. Y ahorita estoy usando solo Dem Standard y Sculptris Pro para empezar a agregar detalles. Y voy a juntar estas dos paredes. Solo que sí voy a darle el espacio de la boca. Y lo que voy a hacer es move. Solo quiero que tenga ese gap, pero que no se vea tan separado. Utilizo inflate. Sí, no sé qué le pasó a Facebook. Usualmente eso sucede en el streaming. De la nada se crashea y se muere la conexión. Pero solo en Facebook, quién sabe. Quiero que esta parte sea como toda carnosa. Y usando Move Topological voy a romper igual la simetría de los dientes. Mm, Estaba pensando ponerle fuego alrededor. Pero quizás nada más haga streaming por unos minutos más, porque la verdad es que necesito encontrar un mejor lugar donde hacer streaming. Esta silla no es lo más cómodo. Quizás puedo ponerlo el cuello. Estoy viendo que no tenga ningún subtool por ahí guardado. De hecho puedo usar sculptris para esto. Vamos a ver. Mucho mejor. Y eso es lo genial de sculptris. Ni siquiera tengo que preocuparme por hacer Dynamesh ni nada por el estilo. Y usar Inflate para darle un poco más de volumen. No le voy a meter detalle a lo que es el cuello. No tiene mucho caso, pero creo que queda bien como para hacerle un desenfoque o algo así. Se ve a lo lejos. Haré el render en Mbr más adelante. El problema es que se comió esta parte, pero bueno. Y sería algo así. Vamos a ver. Esta parte ya es completamente sin simetría, entonces vamos a improvisar y quizás hacer un poquito el aventón. So I'm just using sculptris to create like an interesting composition with the mesh. I'm not going to add any detail to this part of the body. Hey Ian, ¿qué onda, bro? ¿Cómo estás? Muchas gracias. Lo malo es que el streaming falló en Facebook, entonces ya no pude compartirlo más, pero yo creo que ya nada más encontré unos cuantos detallitos. Igual las escamas están un poquito de más. So, I think I'm going to leave streaming right here. Just going to try to do something interesting with the NPR rendering. And that's gonna be it. Give a second. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one, that song. So just going to repeat it again and again. So I'm gonna give it a try to some interesting Mbr filters. Okay, and filters. Oh man, I don't have my rendering button right here, so I have to drag it. No sé, no me convence mucho eso. Hay uno que hizo Shelong, ese. Uy, se pierde mucho. Ese filtro me gusta bastante. Ahora sí que prueba y error. Esto no se ve nada mal. sí se pierde bastante. Ay, pues me quedé. A ver eso. This one is really cool. Oh, this is really cool, but you can actually tell anything from all those shadows. It's really hard to understand what's going on behind that. Behind all those filters. Well. Oh, there's a ton of them. Actually, I can take it like this. And it's really interesting. I haven't seen it before. Yeah, I couldn't find anyone that I dig. Yeah, sorry guys, I couldn't find any material for the rendering of this, but I'm going to leave my streaming right here. Yeah, thanks to everyone who came by to the streaming. This was my first streaming that I've done in a while, so hopefully I'll be able to go back to streaming every week. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll be streaming next Thursday at the same time, 7 p.m. Los Angeles time, 9 p.m. Mexico City, and yeah, have a good night, everyone. My connection this time wasn't perfect, but I'm just trying to fix that. I'm not actually streaming from home, streaming from Tijuana now. So yeah, now I'm living in Tijuana, so I have to find a proper connection, and I think it went well. I mean, besides the problem with Facebook, everything was fine. So you can find me on social media on ArtStation right here. You can find my social media, my Instagram, ArtStation, Facebook, and yep, see you next Thursday. Hey Ian, muchas gracias, bro. Pues qué chido que estabas aquí en el streaming. Pues nos estamos viendo el próximo jueves. En teoría, el internet debe estar mejor el próximo jueves. Según yo, no hubo tantos problemas. Solo el problema de Facebook, pero pues es igual pasaba antes en mi casa, entonces pues creo que es una como cosa técnica esto. Y pues sí, gracias a todos los que estuvieron aquí en el streaming. Nos vemos el próximo jueves. Y pueden encontrarme en ArtStation, Instagram, Facebook en la parte de abajo. Y pues sí, que descansen. Nos estamos viendo.